This podcast is just for fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research.
Flee of goats.
Welcome to
the
show. What is up, my guys? Right off the bat, before we get started.
What?
Right off the bat, I just want to tell people, because I keep forgetting to do this until the very end, but I'm going to do it at the beginning this time.
Uh-oh.
Don't forget, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/BA Bigfoot. Go and subscribe. And if you can do it for free. You can do it for $5 or $10. Each tier has its own perks. The free version, you just kind of are connected. The $5 version, you get our weekly extra bonus episode. Mike and I just got on recording.
Yeah.
And that one, we got pretty good. It was a good one. Yeah, anytime Mike and I are just the two of us, you don't know what you're going to get. And so
we didn't know what we were going to get with it.
It was good. It was a really good one.
Spoiler alert, I got to say hi before the end.
That's right. So Courtney is in the episode.
And for $5 for that, then $10 you also get extras. You get input into future episodes, future episode ideas. You also get access to bonus lives when we do go live, as well as we've got some future ideas. And Courtney and I were cooking some things up on the way to Rapid City yesterday, cooking up a few different ideas, and
mainly just disagreeing about ideas and philosophies.
Yeah, but the $10 tier, you guys might get to be our test subjects for when we start doing video initially, to figure out what kind of angles we want and stuff like that. So at $10, you guys will get the video access first before anybody else will, because we need a test subject. Because part of the thing is, I like things to be quality before I roll it out. So I want to make sure something's going to be good. That's part of the reason we didn't do Patreon for a really long time, is I wanted to make sure that what you guys were going to be paying for was going to be good quality things. It's not just going to be, we're throwing something on here and you can give me money and we'll just take advantage of you. No, I want to actually provide something quality.
Our board of investors.
Yeah.
So
you matter.
So before we are able to do video, there's going to be some learning curves, and I don't want to put out the learning curve stuff. However, with Patreon, you'll still get the non-learning curve stuff, because you'll still get also, I've heard a lot of people complain about commercials. On Patreon for $5, you get commercial-free episodes early. Ooh. So the second I get done editing them, no commercials, they go immediately into the Patreon. It gets uploaded. So you get early access to commercial-free episodes. Ooh. So if you hate the commercials, you can pay to not have to listen to the commercials then, and you get the episode early. But anyway,
and early, like way early. Like it's not like the day before. Like
I tried to do it
as soon as he's edited.
Yeah, the second we record it, and no guarantees on what day it will get out, but we record on Saturdays typically. And so it's usually out by either Sunday or Monday. And so within a day or two of us recording, you get the episode. And and then you get the extra episode. So new episodes typically drop on Wednesdays. So what we've done is Patreon, you get the extra bonus episode, which is usually about an hour long lately.
Yeah.
Anywhere from from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes, probably bonus episode, you get that on Wednesdays instead of the main episode, since you've already got the bonus or got the episode early. But anyway, since there's going to be a learning curve with the video as we get that rolling out, I'm imagining there's going to be a good month of learning curve, if not more.
Soft launch.
And so Patreon $10 subscribers, you will be the ones who get to test and have input on the video aspect.
Get a look at our beautiful faces.
Yeah. I've been starting to put our faces on marketing so that people are less surprised by how we look like. Because when I first put something out there, like, you look so different than I imagined.
Yeah.
You and Phil got that a lot.
Yep.
But that also, shout out to Insane Labs with a Z. They are... we are affiliate with them, and they have given us a big fat discount for you guys if you want any supplement needs, pre-workouts, protein, sleep aids. There's this stuff they have called Nightmare that it's, dude, I've been using it. They're not sponsoring us.
Right.
We're just affiliated, so they're not paying for this ad.
Yep.
They're not paying. They're not paying.
We're fans of them, and they're fans of us.
And then,
I mean, really,
and we do, and we are affiliates, so we do get kickbacks. But this stuff called Nightmare, that, like, dude, my sleep schedule is notoriously bad, and I started taking it, and consistently, I'm able to go to bed way earlier now, and I sleep through the whole night, and it's still like you know, some sleep aids, like, they'll get you to sleep, but you'll wake up 5 hours later because your sleep sucks.
Yeah.
This stuff, I sleep all the way through the night. It's amazing. I'm on an off cycle right now, and I didn't notice withdrawals. I slept perfectly fine last night without it.
Right.
It created the habit, and I'm able to go without. And so it's like, it really is an aid and not like
something
medical.
So it's a supplement, not a...
Yes.
It doesn't create dependency.
Yes. It doesn't create dependency. It encourages healthy sleep.
Right.
But anyway, they have even stuff like that. They've got everything you can think of. Creatine. They have phenomenal creatine. All this stuff. I know it sounds like an advertisement. I apologize. But code is BA Bigfoot on their website, and we do get kickbacks. So shout them out, hit them up. And then I also want to give a supporter of ours who listens to the show and is an awesome dude, and we just have to give him a shout out again, Javi Dade.
Yeah.
If you haven't checked out his music, he's a good dude. He's a friend of ours.
He's got a new album out. Go check his stuff out.
Yeah, he got some stuff that just dropped yesterday.
Yeah.
Some of his music's clean, some of it is not. So warning, if you only listen to clean music, be specific on what you listen to of his that is not what is the parental discretion?
Parental discretion,
whatever.
Explicit.
Make sure it doesn't have the explicit lyrics, but otherwise, go check his music out. He's a great artist, great dude, supporter of the show. He listens to all the episodes. Like, literally, we have conversations. It's so crazy having conversations with somebody like Javi Dade about our podcast, who's like, he's an actual listener. It's so cool. But go check his stuff out. Listen to his new music. He's got a lot of cool things in store. He's even thinking maybe even a tour stop in Denver sometimes.
Yeah, he was talking about a little tour. I don't know how serious that is or how deep it is, but that'd be awesome.
That would be so sick. We get some listeners go down. That'd be awesome. Great. And then if you haven't, subscribe and add Courtney's book stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because she's got
by that
her book stuff. It's Courtney Sherlock
author.
So she's got a website where you can read a short story from her book that's going to be releasing some point this year, right?
Year, hopefully, yeah.
The plan is we've got a detailed. She's got a detailed.
I'm actually on a deadline now. I've got to get my last draft finished before I send it off to an editor. So
if you want a teaser to that,
that's good. That's awesome.
It's good, clean, quality writing, and that's a teaser, but go and
thank you.
Subscribe to her Instagram and her TikTok and Facebook. I don't know what else you have.
I cross
in the website. Sign up for the newsletter so you can get updates,
which will be more frequent now. So
as we continue this process, and I say we just because I'm going to be advertising a lot, even though I did nothing to contribute to this book. So it is not we, it is Courtney. I just keep saying we on accident.
So when Courtney becomes famous author, then Tanner can be like, I know her.
I had one controversial reel. I'm finally up over 200 followers, guys. Yes. Wow. I've actually doubled my followers in the last 2 weeks.
But for real, go follow our stuff and help us. And when we are asking for help, that when this time does come, when the book is getting ready to be released, like, help us share content, share stuff. Courtney posts, repost stuff. It does go a long ways. We've got some listeners like the Bravos. Man, I'm going to give a shout out to Jay Bravo and what's up?
Huh?
They're coming in from outside.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jay Bravo and Mrs. J Bravo. They have been, anytime I share anything from you, they're commenting, sharing, liking, and sharing it with their
such
followers.
A boost on views and likes and seeing some encouraging comments. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
They are, and I'm just sharing their TikTok names because I don't know if they would want me to share their real names, but they're pretty big TikTokers now. They're growing.
Yeah.
They're getting pretty popular TikTokers, but they're awesome people and they listen to the show. And so shout out to more subscribers. If you are a listener of the show and you're an avid listener and you want to shout out sometime, man,
I got a shout out. So one of my students at school, he's a huge listener. Like, he binge listens to the show, and then Monday morning he comes in and tells me everything else. He was like, give me a shout out on the show, and I was like, well, I got to use a code name, and he gave me a code name, but I don't remember what it was. So I've just been calling him code name Larry. Larry. So shout out Larry. We love you, man. We appreciate you listening to the show. And sharing with other people that you listen to the show. We appreciate that.
I'm a firm believer of you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours.
Yeah.
Like, in the concept of like, man, if you support us, man, we're going to support you. And like Javi Dade is definitely one of those people. He's like, he loves the show. And we're working it out where we want to bring Javi on after so we're working it out, just some things that you guys know, that the CEO and COO of Insane Labs is actually going to be, they're working with us actively now to come up with a date so they can come on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that. And then
insane.
After they're on the show, at some point this summer, Javi is wanting to work with us so that he can come on the show as well. And so we got some cool guests in line. But the crazy thing about this is that these are guys that just listen to the show. Like, they listen to the show. It's not like we're reaching out and like soliciting, like, hey, we know that you're a big name. Can you come and promo us? They're like, hey, we love your show. You should bring us on sometime. Yeah, I would love to. You know, like that's the way it worked out.
Yep.
And so, but because they're supporters, we want to give the shout out back. And that's why we shout listeners like Red out all the time, because Red is first in line to sign up to Patreon versus listeners versus whatever. We give shout out. You guys support us. We support you, man. So if you ever have anything if you're a big supporters of ours and you've got a product or something, hit us up. Let's have a conversation. But outside of that, I want to get some caffeine. I'm trying the Bum Energy today for the first time ever. I've never tried Bum Energy.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting name.
And I got I didn't realize that Liquid Death started making an energy drink, and it's like a little baby can. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
But it's only 100 milligrams, so it's not, because I'm already pretty caffeinated from the gym. So I was like, this will work good.
That's nice.
This is it's C-Bum, he's a bodybuilder. So anybody in the bodybuilding lifting community knows exactly who C-Bum is. If you don't, you're not in that community, so you don't know. But he does have an energy drink. This is Dr. Bum. So I'm guessing it's...
Mine's Tropical Terror.
Ready?
Ooh, nice. Good little pop for a little tiny little can.
I'm still working on my
brother.
iced coffee.
That just tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Wait, smell that.
What?
Oh, that smells good.
That smells good.
How does it taste?
I don't know yet.
Oh, the can is kind of Dr. Pepper color.
Yeah.
Wah, wah,
sad? Mine is good, dude.
It smelled so good. It's sparkly, watery.
The back end flavored. Of it is way different. But
because I'm sure it has to be.
At first, as soon as it touches your tongue, it's like
it's Dr. Pepper. It's not even like the initial flavor is not Diet Dr. Pepper.
And then
it's
it came
Dr.
back
Pepper.
At the end. So like the middle of it, not Dr. Pepper.
It doesn't taste like Diet Dr. Pepper.
Boy,
it tastes
really
like Dr. Pepper.
We really high load this one, didn't we, with the energy drinks today?
This tastes like Dr. Pepper.
That's crazy. crazy.
That's awesome.
I am so impressed. I want to try. He's got a root beer flavored one too.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 flavors there.
The caffeine's a little lower, so if you're a big caffeine nerd, but it's like 112 milligrams caffeine. So if you're not a big caffeine person, oh, dude, that is a good energy drink.
It's like a
It's got
coffee.
Yeah, that's about like a medium-sized coffee.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is delicious. I wish he would come out with a bigger man-sized can. I'm just kidding.
Man can.
It's like the little baby cans.
We got it's like the medium size, and then this little fella over here. It's not terrible.
But
the smell was so intense, and then the flavor is like TV static.
Oh man,
like tropical TV static.
See, just to show, we don't always just say they taste good if they don't taste good.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna drink it, but it's not. I definitely wouldn't get this again.
I have a case of stuff that's supposed to be coming in. It's called Underdog that I want to try.
I've seen Underdog. I've seen their little TikToks and stuff.
I think it just came in.
Did it?
We got 5 packages on our porch today. Hun.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't see my Snapchat yet, did you?
I don't know.
Yeah, 3 of them are yours.
I wouldn't even. We wouldn't even had to go get energy drinks. We
2 of them are Insane Labs, and I'm pretty sure the other one.
The Underdog, it's like a natural, and I'm like, I warned them. I was like, just a warning. We're kind of brutal with our taste tests, so like, don't think we're just gonna like it because we got it. And so we'll see. But I don't have high hopes.
Gonna listen to the show? This would be great if they listen to the show too. We started an energy drink war.
Wow.
Being honest, I don't have high hopes. Anything that's like everything is supernatural. We don't put in fake sugar. We don't do this. We don't do that. I'm like, okay, what do you have? Don't tell me what you don't have.
Yeah, what is it?
If your entire marketing is ploy is what you don't have, then what you don't probably have is flavor. Like, put in what you do have. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that horrible? Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
I approach humans like that too.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
If you tell me what you're not bringing to the flavor, bringing to the table, I know you're not bringing the flavor.
You're not bringing
the flavor.
If your entire personality and brand is built off of what you're not doing.
We need you to bring the flavor.
We need you to
bring the flavor.
Just poke it with a stick. Do something. You can't run off of doing nothing. But so
let me predict. I see what you're doing over there.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do that.
Today is going to be about connecting.
Connecting?
Yeah, our Bigfoot affirmation.
All right, what's your number?
Connecting.
Guess a number.
Oh, are we doing
1 to 100?
Okay. I'm going to guess 54.
Okay. It is 29. It says, bold footsteps lead to brighter days. That's quality.
I wasn't even close. I'm definitely not psychic.
I like that, though.
But here's the thing. Like, if you had looked at it beforehand and then I read your mind, maybe I'd be more accurate on my guesses.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's true. We didn't actually.
We did. Next week, we
got to do the mind reading thing.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Okay, next week you're looking before, and I'm going to see if I can predict. Yeah,
exactly.
Ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
Yeah.
That reminded me of a conversation we had in the Discord. Shout out to, this is apparently an advertisement day. I normally am not heavy.
We have so much to be grateful for, though, man.
Yeah.
Really, just doing lots of shout outs.
I'm not usually huge on like the advertising stuff because I don't want to bog down the show. Because if you listen to shows where the first 20 minutes is just them talking about all their sponsors.
I've gotten pretty good with my fast forward.
You start skipping it, yeah. And so I don't want you to feel like you have to skip our show in order to get to the good part. But I know a lot of people do because they don't like the banter at the beginning or whatever. I don't care. But whatever. It is what it is. But Red on the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't. We've got great conversations going lately.
Yeah.
But on the Discord, Red brought up, and he asked a question of, how do you know when's a good time to move on from something, or when do you need to just stay put and be reliable and not give up too early on something just because it's hard.
Yeah.
And my advice always to that is, when it comes to in my faith and my belief in God, I believe that God is a good God, but he is also a good father. And I think of my kids, and I want my kids to make good choices because they want to make good choices, not because they're afraid of the consequences.
Right.
I want them to make good choices because I've raised them right to the point where they can make good choices. And so I think sometimes God is just trusting us to make a good choice.
Right.
But if the door needs to be closed, he will close that door. But I also, on the other hand, believe that sometimes people move on too quickly. And I think that there is a lot of benefit in sticking out hard times through it just because it's hard. And I think that as a society, America, we have gotten too good at leaving early on things. Yeah. And so a lot of people leave way sooner than they should.
Yeah.
And so there is a balance there.
So my balance, looking at it from my state, because truth, we talk about all the time, truth is truth, and we just kind of look at it from different angles, but we always come to the same truth. Yeah. I think that looking at it from is, hope and fear. If staying is creating hope, then stay. If getting away is creating hope, then get away. If staying is because you're afraid of what leaving means, then you need to leave. If leaving is because you're afraid of what might happen if you stay, then you need to stay and stick it out. So hope and fear are, two opposite ends of the spectrum for me when I'm looking at making those kinds of decisions, whether I need to stick it out, work hard at it, or if I just need to move on.
Yeah.
I look at it from hope and fear. Those are my two. But absolutely, those exist within the same, within faith too. I mean, hope and fear are huge.
Oh, speaking of hope and fear, we got to talk. We are the Biblically Accurate Bigfoot podcast. We got to talk about everything coming out about the Patterson, the Patterson film.
Yeah, I've seen there's a few new things that have come out about the Bigfoot film.
So there's a alleged documentary that's came out or coming out called Capturing Bigfoot, and it claims to have video footage of a rehearsal exposing it as a staged event.
Yeah.
I have two problems. My first problem, everything that they've provided has been behind a paywall.
Right.
Yeah.
Second problem I have, very convenient in the age of AI that we are, now all of a sudden you have some hidden grainy footage.
Then where did it come
Why
from?
didn't it pop up 2 years ago? Yeah. Why didn't it pop up before AI became what it is?
On the flip side, have you seen the stabilized video? They were able to take it frame by frame and match up like the background to the frame by frame, and then they can show it and like the background is like moving.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, but they stabilize it so you can see the picture, and it's not jumbly and everything. That was a cool video. I was like,
cool. That is cool.
Led that on the opposite side of things. And I don't remember who put that out, but that led to some new discussions too, because the way that this old Bigfoot walks, it is very not human. The way it goes heel toe is not, the way the legs flex and everything else. It's not like it would be in a suit. It had to be a pretty elaborate suit. Right. So I don't know.
It's interesting. And it's,
I think we'll debate this thing forever just because it's such an old video and it's never been debunked.
And again, today, even if you did debunk it today, it's hard to debunk things now.
Yeah, it's hard to tell
because AI is so prominent.
Yeah. And AI is getting more and more convincing. It's scary. Some of the AI stuff.
We picked up a new follower, and because he's new, I'm not necessarily going to give him a shout out, but he knows who he is. And he posed the question in the Discord of, if it were proven to be fake, this film, would it change your beliefs in Bigfoot? And I was like, brother, none of my beliefs come because of this video.
Yeah, this video is very low on the
very low.
very low on the list
on
of
the reality
things that I've seen.
So this isn't me just trying to defend something that's like, you know what I'm talking. Like we got a core belief, and that at the root of that core is this one thing,
right?
You know, because in the lore of the podcast, if you've listened to all of our episodes, we don't think that Bigfoot is just like this creature in the woods. That's we think there's a lot more to it there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, we don't know.
Well, and even then, what I've found as we've done this show and talked about things is the more cultures that talk about something, for me, it makes it more believable. Now, whether it's real or what they're seeing is what people are saying it is or not. Mm-hmm. You know, Bigfoot just doesn't exist like in California. Like if it was an isolated and it was a story online and there's one video, I'd be like, it's a cool video. But I mean, there are cultures all over the world that, believe in something like that.
Yes.
For thousands of years. And so for me, I'm like, there's got to be something more than just this one video. It's interesting that we just cannot capture more videos of it. That's what's interesting too.
Yeah.
Although in Ohio,
I know
I've seen some
Ohio
videos
lately, man.
Okay,
but are they?
So wait, real quick, just so that I don't have to have my phone out for a while. One more shout out to a follower. She, when I talk about my Native American source, she wants to come on the show.
Oh, all right.
And
cool.
she said that she has the story on the little people of the Pryor Mountains.
Oh,
she's got the inside information.
That would be very
And so
cool.
she said, "Name it. Come on the show." And I was like, that might be a summer episode.
That'd be great.
And so another teaser for another special guest we got.
I'm excited for some special guests. We've had a lot of very interesting people with a lot of great stories that have showed some interest that want to, come and share.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I got on the show.
Oh,
I love just sharing stories. I love hearing stories. I just, and Bigfoot's no different. I love hearing stories, whether I believe them or not, I love hearing stories.
Right.
Exactly.
Back to Ohio. How about that meteor that exploded over?
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen some of the other ones? There was one sighted over. Okay, here's the funny
Just
thing.
assume that I am not caught up on things.
Okay, so
I am so backlogged.
What did they say? It was
right
like
now.
a 6 metric ton meteor or something like that.
It caused a sonic boom
over Ohio that could be heard as far as New York.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Boom.
The boom, the sonic boom, you could hear it from
gosh.
states away.
Exploded before it hit land.
I've seen that kind of thing portrayed on like TV shows.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
there's
not
some crazy videos
actual
of it.
reports.
Yeah.
So then
That's
there's been other sightings of other meteors that didn't explode, that burned up before they hit Earth, like over California.
Yeah,
stuff.
I saw the California
What
one.
I love and I hate is how wild. I think there's a legitimate counter, like, conspiracy theory initiative out there that's like just absurd. Have you seen some of it? The theories about what it was?
I've seen some crazy
People are saying that it was a Iranian spicy ballistic.
I saw that.
And that we're at World
we intercepted
War,
it,
and that we're currently in WW3, and that Iran is winning, and that they're clearly
hiding it from us. And I just saw that.
Brother,
I saw the alien stuff too. Just some of the alien ship.
You make it hard for me to have a conspiracy theory podcast when people like you are shouting and it's like running
It
wild.
sounds like Cold War paranoia.
It's crazy. Hardcore propaganda.
Yeah.
And I guarantee I know exactly where it's coming from. You know where it's come from.
The aliens.
It's coming from China, dude.
Bigfoot. Oh, okay, China.
I said, you were joking, and it took me a second because I was like, okay, you're going to guess, and then I'm going to throw it out there. And then it took me until after I said it that you were like, oh, you said Bigfoot. That's not, you were joking. I apologize.
Or am I?
Or are you? But, but speaking of all of that, so going into current events a little bit more, I guess. Oh, we already were in current events. Have you seen some of the rumors about Tucker Carlson?
Yes.
What did I see about
that.
Tucker Carlson the other day? Gosh, I'll throw him out there. Let me see if I did see something about Tucker Carlson, but I don't remember what it was.
So it sounds like he's been giving inside information to our enemies.
Like he's
for a
bought
while.
out.
Yeah.
So what it sounds like, and this is what it sounds like, is that Trump brought him in, gave him false information, knowing it was going to get back to the leader of Iran, of the IRGC or whatever they're called. I can't remember what their cult is called. But knowing it would get back to them so that they would behave differently so that they then could target them all in the same place.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there's, and I have not seen, but it sounds like there's legit evidence. And now there's the possibility that Tucker Carlson might be going to prison for a very long time.
Right. And not to be that guy, but if we know about it, is he the guy that's taking the blame for it?
Well, here's the thing.
Scapegoat. Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think the reason we know about it is because Tucker Carlson himself shared about it.
Right.
And I think he shared about it to try to get his supporters to defend him.
Right.
But I agree with you.
Because I've been watching these like retired CIA guys that have been talking about with it, and they don't give a whole lot of information, but they kind of give some interesting stuff on how things work. And they're like, and almost all of them say, they're like, if you know about it as just a regular citizen, if you know about it, you don't know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so every time I hear, something like that, I'm like, oh, that's somebody's doing that. I don't know who.
Well, here's the thing about,
and maybe it is the truth.
Here's the thing about Tucker that not everybody knows that isn't everybody knows about.
Yeah.
So Tucker Carlson's dad's CIA.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is CIA.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I think personally, he is CIA, and one or either. He intentionally, they brought him in to personally get close to these enemies over the years, and he's gotten close to them, got their trust, and now somebody leaked information, and now they have to deal with the leaked information.
Right.
And so now he'll go to jail.
Right.
Or they'll talk about it, but nothing will really happen because they just need to talk about it on record long enough so that it can disappear.
Yeah.
Or he is actually CIA, but he was bought out. And he just did happen to get caught, and now he's trying to counter evidence it with his side of the story of, because he's playing the whole freedom, like freedom of free speech.
Right.
Well, free speech doesn't count as when you can't give an adversary secret information, call it freedom of information. That
and CIA,
treason,
one of the titles you can have in the CIA is a misinformation agent. That is a job you can have in the CIA, is just to cause chaos and misinformation, and that's not a secret either. Right. They let that out. Right. That's a job.
I feel like you don't hear about treason as a crime much lately. You know what I mean? Because it's so, everything's supposed to be so open, and it's the age of information and all of that sort of stuff. But like, treason's still a crime.
It's still a thing.
Like, selling
secrets
to other governments.
Unless we do have a one world government, then who are you treasoning against?
It's still illegal. Yeah, for real. They're just getting rid of it. Yeah, that's true. But it depends on who the one world government. If your theory is correct that it's the intelligence agencies, you could be committing treason to the government. The government's going to try you, but the CIA is like, oh yeah, we already knew. Whoop-de-doo.
They do a little facial reconstruction.
Yeah.
Let you move to Canada.
Yeah, move on.
Yep. Man.
Bonus crank hack.
Yeah. That was mine.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was that whole thing's interesting.
That's crazy.
And I don't know that I believe any of that either. It's fun to just joke around and go, I don't know. I don't know.
It's like the new reality TV, just speculating about it, but it's like actual people and like,
it's interesting.
Crazy.
It's like when you read a dystopian book and you're like, oh, what if kind of thing. I don't know. It's all what ifs. So
very much so.
Who knows? Who knows?
That all of that stuff is kind of crazy. The war game stuff that's going on, that like,
right.
It's wild the level of propaganda that ramped up the second that and it's not a war.
I've seen that too.
Military, because it's not, because I guess America hasn't declared war since World War II.
Right.
Everything since then has been
and it's a loophole thing too, because we can't declare
military,
war without Congress, and if we don't declare war, then Congress doesn't get to get involved, and it's a whole, I don't know.
It's a weird thing that's been going on since.
What do you think, Phil? Oh,
good talk.
We forgot to mention that.
Phil's not here.
Phil's not here today.
All of our shout outs. We need to put more shout outs to someone who's not here.
But it is kind of crazy thinking about even like Vietnam. It's like the amount of people that were lost. They enacted the draft.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a declaration of war.
Yeah.
Because it was a military something protection, whatever. I can't remember. My brain, I don't have it written down, so I can't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't
it wasn't a war.
No.
And so
until afterwards, then they called it the Vietnam War.
Well, and the propaganda about that they're going to re-enlist the draft and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen a ton of that too.
Too much of this stuff is technology now. We don't need boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't think they would ever need to, just because the amount of guys we already have in waiting, ready to go.
Yeah.
And then the amount of everything that's now no longer boots on the ground. I couldn't imagine.
Well, and we've talked about that too, that this is the next, if there is another big war, it feels like it's going to be a tech war. It's going to be a war of technology, a war of who has the best tech that can, do the most of damage in a small area that doesn't cause global anything. And it's just very,
conspiracy theory.
Yes.
I think we are in World War III.
I've seen that. I've seen that
I've seen
idea.
a lot of that.
Yeah,
because, and I was kind of hinting at it.
Didn't you just scoff at that like 2 minutes ago?
Well, but here's the thing. No. But not World War III in the sense of being in World War III like we traditionally think of World War III.
Yeah.
Right.
I think because, and going back to what I kind of hinted at, the sheer amount of propaganda that has been coming at us since this started.
It's a propaganda war.
It's ramped up. It's 10 times. You can't get on without a video of a random, and it's like influencers that like for 10 years have had a very normal, very non-political platform, and then all of a sudden they're pro China, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Yep.
And they're buying out influencers left and right.
Right.
And it's like, you don't need all of them.
Well, and how many of these
if you can even get
they're not even real people. They're an AI algorithm that they created to create chaos. And madness.
That's a thing.
Yeah. And it's wild to me. And with TikTok now doing the just taking people out of their money, people whose income who've been making 6 figures a year for 5 years now, all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, you're no longer a part of our program. And they're like, well, why? And they're like, oh, you said something.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if those people are either people that denied to be paid for influencing stuff, or it's a future bribe where they'll let them back and then be like, hey, next time be like, if you don't do this, you'll lose your rewards again this time.
It's kind of like when you have to give out, certain shout outs and things like that, and certain angles to get that paycheck.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I alluded to it a little earlier of like why I don't want to be that. Right. And that's why I feel like our shout outs right now are very, again, going back to the you scratch our back, we scratch yours, not like because they're giving us money.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I would want to go down that route.
And we're not getting anything from any of the shout outs. We're not getting anything other than love from them. And we're not giving out anything other than, a shout out and some,
other than the
some friendship and things like
code,
that. So.
The code on Insane Labs does give you, does give us a kickback, and that's it. And so obviously,
but again, we were shouting them out before.
Before we even got affiliate.
So I agree with that. The day comes when somebody's trying to offer us money for, to put something on the show. I think you might not hear from us again on the show anyway. Right. Fingers crossed.
And that's the thing. If somebody offered me enough money to sell out, I'd sell out. And then I'd start another podcast and then be like, that other don't listen to that other one anymore. Just listen to this one. Everybody go listen to my other podcast,
If you had a second podcast, what would you name it? I like throwing questions they're not prepared for.
Gosh, I don't know.
Crayon, Cack, and Bigfoot.
Oh,
Crane.
I like it. Let's let Discord people. We need some ideas.
Yeah, an alternative.
If we started a second podcast, not that we're going to,
or what we could name the Patreon podcast part, the extra episode, rather than calling it extra episode.
That's true.
Because like shout out to, and they don't even know we exist unless they steal our content.
Phil's Funhouse or.
But the Ninjas or Butterflies, their Patreon content is called Dolphins or Aliens.
Nice.
Is what they call that.
Okay.
So their show is
so we go with the same theme. We just switch it up a little bit. So we go. I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Historically accurate Tartaria. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
Historically accurate Mothman.
What
do we besides Bigfoot? What is our big cryptid that we talk about a lot? Shadow people.
Shadow people is a big one.
That one comes up a lot.
So be
shadow people or skinwalkers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to name something Skinwalker.
No.
That just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hey, what's the topic today?
Hey, we're talking mysterious places.
Ooh.
Weird places. I don't know. I've come up with a few different handful of names for this topic.
Okay.
But we've talked about, we did like the triangles episodes.
Right.
And this one could have been a triangle episode because of my topic.
Yeah.
But.
And we've done some forest like anomaly ones, and any of these could be part of that.
Right. And so we just kind of come up with like a weird places.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird places.
Is one of them episode. The one that I think that I almost did?
Yeah, because
1 week.
You researched that, right?
Which one? What?
The
one that
forest?
I almost did.
I didn't do the forest.
Oh, you did a different one.
I loosely did the forest.
Okay.
Oh.
And you did research on the forest then, right?
No.
I thought you said you did.
You said you were going to do the forest.
Because I said I wasn't going to do it so that you
because you were going to do the dragon triangle.
Not this
No,
week.
I'm doing the dragon triangle.
I didn't agree to do anything.
I thought you said you didn't want me to do the forest because you were going to do the forest.
I did the forest
because I text thread
because I didn't want you to lie to me. So I did do the forest.
To ask me if it was okay because
so
I did Yanaguni.
Nobody's doing anything today.
I did
okay, bye.
I did Yanaguni. I did Yanaguni. So we did like a Japanese thing. Because I did Yanaguni.
Yeah.
And then and I did do the forest just because, like I said, sometimes when we have different topics, I get my suspicious eyes and I'm watching you because I don't know if you're making stuff up or not.
I always make stuff up. This is why we say do your own research
too. Yeah. So I can bring up. There were some crazy stories from that forest too.
I'm on a manuscript deadline, so I wasn't able to do anything.
Last current event before we move, the EPA just acknowledged that cloud seeding has adverse health effects.
How about that?
So the funny thing is that ironically, so them saying that it has adverse health effects acknowledges that it's a real.
Yep.
That is,
So can people sue them then? Adverse health effects?
You'd have to prove that your health effects are being caused by the cloud seeding, but yeah, I mean, that opens the door to suing because they did admit that it can. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing.
Great.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
Yep.
Well, so what do we want to start with?
Do you want to start with the forest? We can talk.
Yeah, let's tackle the forest.
It's kind of interesting.
Let's tackle the forest.
So the Aokigahara Forest, we'll just call it the forest.
The Japanese forest.
Yeah, it's kind of well known for self-alivings.
Unalivings.
High rate.
They're not bringing people back, Mike.
self-unalivings.
They're not
Self-alivings?
It's not necromancy going on here. They're not going in.
I don't know. Have you read some of the stories? Because there might be some self-aliving going on too.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh my God, this place is crazy. This place is crazy. So looking at this forest, I stumbled on it kind of on accident because I was looking at another thing and then this kind of popped up and it was kind of interesting, just like historically and everything else. So this forest is at the base of Mount Fuji. Mm-hmm. And Mount Fuji is a volcano. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, it erupted, wiped out a whole area, and then the volcanic ash created this forest. Yeah. And the forest is so thick that like there's places in it where it's like twilight. It'll be midday and it feels like twilight because it's so thick. And it'll be raining and you can hear the rain, but there's no water that gets through.
Wow.
That's how thick the top of this forest, and it's huge trees. And they say that the sound disappears in there. It's like a sound chamber. So
that sounds a lot like the Appalachian.
In general, yeah. Yes. So in general, it's kind of a creepy place anyway.
I was thinking the Forbidden Forest from Harry Potter. That's what I described.
Oh, that works too.
Sorry.
But like geographically, more self-unalivings than any other spot on the planet, pretty much, And now, given this is in Japan,
I was going to say,
and in Japan, like historically, culturally, that sort of thing is not as frowned upon as it is in most other cultures in the world,
especially in the West.
And like even during like WW2, it was preached and it was like a whole thing. And then you get into like the samurai and things like that, and they have their rituals for their warriors, or, if you dishonor your family, one way to get your honor back is to end your own life. And so, within that culture, it's not only it's not as taboo as it is in most other cultures. So even religious practice, when I looked, I think 1960 was when they made it illegal for religious practices to help someone end their own lives. It wasn't even until 1960. And there's some that still do it. I was telling Tanner a little bit about it. So there's a couple of Buddhist sects that they do like self-mummification as part of their ritual. So they will starve and like thirst themselves and pray and deep meditation so that they can transition, to the other side.
Interesting. I thought you were going to say self-immolation.
Very weird. Yeah, no, different than that.
Because there's some who do that too.
So when I looked at this, it was kind of interesting because looking at it historically, they came out with a book. And it got me thinking a lot too, because I've gotten into debates about romantic novels, especially teen romantic novels, and how like, in those novels, love equates danger. Danger equates love. Like, oh, it's such a great love story, but they die at the end. Like Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah.
It's a terrible love story. Terrible love story, but it's considered like the, quintessential love story. And it's not, when Twilight came out.
Oh yeah.
I happened to be watching a show about, it just happened to be on like, I don't remember if it was History Channel or what, but there was some documentary about women who marry men in prison. And then right after it was a documentary about Twilight. And I was like, oh,
how about that?
Danger equates to love in these love stories. They have to be tragic love stories. Well, a tragic love story got written in Japan, and it lays out how to not get caught in this forest and be able to unalive yourself in this forest. Wow. So the rate of deaths in this forest jumped 24% in the year that book came out.
Jeez.
And most of them were women, and they found several of them with a copy of the book when they found their bodies in this forest.
Great.
So it is kind of a interesting, scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. So my big old post on social media that kind of went, the comments of people like, oh, come on. No one has ever been harmed by something in a book. And I'm like, I am not for censorship, but you need to realize how ludicrous that statement is.
Yeah.
Just saying, because reading books are very influential.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing is like experts, a lot of the experts say, well, you can't equate that, you can't blame it on the book because there was other things going on. And we're like, oh, you kind of can.
Well, if they had a note about the person, then you would tie that back to that reasoning.
Them had this book and everything else. So they find, when I looked in there, they find anywhere from 80 to well over 100 bodies every year that they pull out of this forest. and just people going in there and and so obviously Western culture got a hold of this, and it, for ancient Japanese culture, this was not about death. It was about comfort. It was about, people hoping. So they interviewed some people that had survived, and they said, I didn't want my family to find me. I didn't want anybody to find me. So I knew they wouldn't be able to find me in this forest. And so it was like I hate to say that it was like a comfort thing or that it was, a peaceful thing, but in that culture it was right until Western culture turned it into like horror movies and things like that, and made it into ghosts, and there's been lots of ghost investigations, things like that. So one of the craziest, I was telling Tanner about it. Is that where
Slender Man comes from?
No, that's a creepypasta.
Okay.
Yeah, Slender Man.
I've always felt like there was a tie between.
I'm sure there is,
for some reason. Anyways,
I'm sure that's a basis for those kind of stories.
I've never. This is random, but isn't that why Jake Paul lost all of his sponsorships way back in the way before he did the boxing thing? Was because he went and investigated the forest and showed an actual person, who had
showed like a tent where somebody had
unalived themselves and put it on.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
something like that.
And so then he got taken off of everything.
So this story gave me chills because this is the one story that stuck out. So I wanted to give a little history behind the forest first, but this story kind of stuck out. So there was a photographer that went in and wanted to take some pictures, of nature, the deer and the birds and things like that in this forest. And so he knew how easy it was to get lost in there because it's on volcanic rock, so it's magnetic. So like, of course, compasses and things like that don't work very well. Bless you.
Thank you.
And so he brought in these bright blue ribbons, and he would mark his trail so that when he's ready to come back, he could follow the ribbons back, right?
Yes.
And he took radios so he could keep contact, right? So on like the third or fourth day of doing this, there was no contact. And so they did a people search and they started looking for him. They followed the blue ribbons, and they came to a tree, and this tree was huge. I think they said 6, 7, 8 people around it holding hands. That's how big this tree was. Wow. And it just walks up to the tree, and you can follow his footsteps and the ribbons stopped. And so they did circular search party around the area, couldn't find any more ribbons, couldn't find any more footprints. Footprints disappeared, but along with his footprints were giant footprints, long footprints that looked like they were. They said it looked like that something was dancing around him. Oh, and so they don't know. So later on, they found his tent and a cold fire pit and his boots sitting next to his tent about a mile away, about a half mile away. And so when they got there, they actually, when they got to the tent, those little blue ribbons were tied to all the trees around the tent, like he was trying to protect himself from something. Oh. They also found his camera. Oh. And on his camera reel, it's got all his pictures walking into the woods and from his tent in the dark, looking out of his tent into the darkness. And they enhance those pictures, and allegedly you can see figures looking behind trees at him. I know. But wait, the final picture, according to this legend, the final picture is a picture. Now, he's by himself in the woods. Mm-hmm. The final picture is a picture from inside the tent, looking out, a picture of him tying the ribbons on the trees. No. That is the final picture in the reel. Nope. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. That was my favorite story that I came across. It was a good one. Gave me chills.
That was a really good one.
But anyway, like I said, so I don't know, like culturally, it's interesting It's such an interesting like area just because it feels different depending on your history and your cultural practices and it's a different place. You know, completely for us as it would be to somebody in the original,
right?
Time period.
There's a handful of things that kind of correlate with all of our other weird spots of the forest of like compasses don't work very well.
Right. Very disorienting.
Very quiet.
The quiet thing too, because we talked about sound chambers. And like people, their mental health goes
in a soundproof
into the ground once they're in a soundproof area. And like even if you didn't go in there with the intent, like if you weren't in a good place, a place like that would change things.
But so another overlap that it has is it has natural lava formed caves all over the place.
So that was part of the story too. I forgot about that part. They did find more ribbons like shredded ribbons on the ground, and they followed them, and it went to a crevasse, and they couldn't see the bottom of the crevasse, so they don't know what. And it looked like the footprints. They said it was they were pressurized, like it was like whatever it was carrying something. And I was like, he got taken by a Bigfoot. That was my thought. Taken by a Bigfoot.
But caves overlap the missing people and Bigfoot.
Yep.
Yes.
There's always caves.
Yep. Caves, thick forests. I mean, it's a different continent, different country, but man.
And from what I found, the authorities no longer publicize statistics of of exactly how many people go missing, stuff like that in there and whatever, just to both prevent like copycat behaviors.
Right.
But also stuff like that. Like
there's so many weird rules and laws that we've come across that we're like, why is that a law? The other day we were talking at the gym, Courtney, you didn't get filled in on part of this. So I was talking to an archaeologist that I met, and legit archaeologists. I won't give names or anything like that, but they're legit. And they said that they were getting ready to go on a dig over by Turkey, that kind of area.
Yeah.
Over there, they're going on a big dig over there, and I was asking them. I said, "Do you ever get to, have you ever found anything cool?" And they said, "No, because I've only worked in the United States." And I was like, "You guys don't get to dig in the United States?" And they were like, "No, it's illegal. It's illegal for archaeologists to dig in the United States. We don't get to dig. We get to do like surveys and help with like new buildings and like surveying land and areas, but we don't get to dig in the United States. It's illegal." I was like, "What?
Why?
What? Why is it illegal for archaeologists to do archaeological digs in the United States?"
Yeah.
Especially with how much stuff they can uncover here.
I know.
Yeah.
Like from
just Native American,
to even some of the stuff that's like
you say you want to
rumored,
preserve indigenous cultures and stuff. Then why not?
Zero access to like probably 65-70% of the Grand Canyon.
Right.
The Grand Canyon's off limits.
Off limits. But like you can't dig in the United States.
Yeah.
You can dig in the Middle East. You can dig over
I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, you can't do an archaeological. Which
That's
Tanner and I threw out this too, because we have, especially around this area, we have where they've quote unquote dug up mammoths and dinosaur bones and fossils, and who's digging those up if it's illegal for archaeologists to dig? Or are those made up?
Yeah,
right.
Are those just created to tell a story?
Like
you're right.
Bison.
I don't know.
Bison runs and
Yeah.
Huh?
Because if it's illegal for them to dig, and like I said, this isn't just some conspiracy theorist. Whatever. This is a legit gets paid to be an archaeologist, and I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Has it always? It hasn't always.
There's no way it could always be like that.
I'm sure it probably coincides with the prevalence and the authority of a certain museum.
That was my thought. Because I made jokes. I said, "Hey, if you find anything cool, I'm sure we won't hear about it."
Yeah. Smithsonian gonna shut that down so fast.
Yeah.
come in, take over. And you
so
might,
that
and
threw me
your
off,
existence might no longer any exist. Like as history portrays, they deny people even existed, let alone that they didn't find what they found.
Right.
Oh, that person was a made up person. Was it really?
Yeah, I talked to them myself.
Yeah,
but,
they have. They have.
But yeah, so you can't dig. You can't talk to dolphins. What else can't we do? That's weird.
Speaking of dolphins, have you been seeing the sheer number of deceased dolphins that have been washing up on shore?
What?
Apparently, Gerald's silencing some.
Gerald and his board of directors are.
They've been cleaning house, apparently.
Yeah, they've been talking within the dolphin organization, and Gerald's been taking care of business.
Either that, or because word got out, our government's been taking out some of the.
I don't know.
The secrets.
It's just weird the timing with the Gerald thing, and then and then I did see that the Gerald thing was a hoax, but I'm like, even if you tell me it's a hoax at this point, I'm like, it's too weird.
It was
so weird that I want to believe it.
Well, and the thing about the Gerald thing that was weird was it was backed. It had the local news. It had legitimacy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it didn't, and it had none.
Yeah.
And that was weird to me it went from being legitimate to zero legitimacy overnight. And then not to say it's so far fetched that I'm not even advocating that it was real or anything.
Ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous that I want to believe it. That's why.
Right. It's so ridiculous.
If this was real, then I can believe in anything.
But there is some weird things about how it just went from being legitimate to zero legitimacy. Not even a story that was blown out of proportion.
It's got too many details to just be a joke.
Yeah, it was
There's too many details. Do you think Gerald has ever been to the Dragon's Triangle?
It's possible.
Do you like that transition?
There was a giant interspecies dolphin, thousands of them mob that came from that direction and was coming towards the United States.
Dolphin mob, not an interspecies dolphin.
Yes.
Okay. Well, different
I was
species.
Like, are we talking about a new cryptid?
No. Different species of dolphins in the same pool for some reason coming over from that direction.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is true. I wish I knew more about the Dragon's Triangle. I wish someone knew. I wish someone researched.
What a coincidence! I did a lot of research on that. What?
I'm so glad you're here, Tanner.
It's almost like we planned this.
Oh my goodness!
We do plan things every once in a while. It's not.
I love how confused we were at the beginning, and now here we go.
This is on that same note. For real though, I was thinking about it, and my whole life I've always been the kind of person that's like, I'm skilled in all trades, but a master in none kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know a lot. I know a little bit about a lot of different things. This podcast has made that 10 times worse.
Yeah, I bet.
Because somebody will come to me and we'll be like, oh, you run a podcast? Yeah. Oh, have you ever heard of this? Why, yes, I have heard of this. And they're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, that, but this. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, bro, you haven't heard about that? Sit down for 10, 15 minutes because I've got a story to tell you. It's like, literally,
I'm the opposite. Someone's like, oh, so you were talking about this on the podcast. And I was like, we were?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Was I on that episode?
But also,
I can't remember already. Sorry.
The crazy thing is for my brain though, because we talk about it. So I research it to talk about it. And then I listen to it to edit it.
Yes.
And so I have to go through it again.
Right.
And then I listen to it again just to listen to it when we are driving.
You know what? That would be enough to seal it in.
And so I remember so much about it because I'm so involved in it.
Right.
And so this stuff is just in my memory now. And I'm like,
right.
But anyway.
I like when I put out a theory because somebody the other day said something about the moon landing. So I threw a bunch of my stuff that I know about the moon landing.
Oh, yeah.
The theories and stuff I know about the moon landing out there. But I have to clarify a lot of times that listen, I don't believe in a lot of the stuff I'm going to tell you. I just know what other people are saying.
Yes.
And here's what other people are saying.
Yeah.
I have to do that a lot.
To be honest, I don't know what I believe anymore.
I agree.
I know.
I don't know that I can say that I believe something solid. Any of the things we've talked about, I don't know that I can be 100% say this is what I believe. I know there's a lot of info, and here's a bunch of info about it, and I don't know.
I feel like I tend to believe a little, maybe a lot more than I used to about government conspiracies. Yeah. Those ones I'm way more likely to believe in them now than I did before we researched.
One thing I do believe about government conspiracies is that we are 100% are not getting 100%.
Oh, we have no clue.
Yeah. We're not even close.
We're not even close. And when we get a little morsel of like the Stargate program, I know there's a whole cookie.
Yeah, we're barely.
You know that there's that.
Yeah,
that
we're barely getting a crumb.
No, not a chance
of the truth. You know what I do believe in? You, Tanner. I believe
Aww, that's sweet. I don't even believe in me. Just kidding. The Dragon's Triangle.
Back on topic.
AKA.
We believe the absolute truth is out there. We just don't know what it is.
That's the truth is truth. We just good luck finding it.
We just don't know what it is.
AKA the Devil's Sea.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a dual name.
Like the letter C.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You have pirate's favorite letter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like evil vitamin C.
Wow.
It's bad for you.
Wow.
Spelled.
What?
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
The Dragon's Triangle.
You can't take Tanner off topic because he will follow you.
I fall for it
he
every
will
time.
follow you wherever
I
you go. Okay, back to the
but because I feel like sometimes I feel bad.
I did it again. I wasn't even trying.
Well, but something like legitimately though, like I feel bad just going like. Anyway, back to what we're saying. So I'm like, I gotta at least entertain what they said. Okay, yeah. But then my brain goes latched in, and then I'm like, here's new information.
You know how he does it though? He goes, for real, and then he goes back on.
Yeah, if I'm I'm struggling right now, and I need to hold on to this thought. Otherwise, I know we're going down a trail.
Yeah,
it's gonna take 25 minutes. Yeah, that's awesome. And then, all right. Anyway, moving on. I have to, and I'm not doing it for your sake. I'm doing it for my sake. Okay. Okay. The Devil's Triangle. No, yeah, I'm mixing metaphors or mixing names. Dragon's Triangle. This place.
C.
Oh, I want to do the voice.
Do the voice.
In a land on the opposite side of the earth of the Bermuda Triangle is this place known as the Devil's Sea. It is also known as
it's the sea.
The the Dragon's Triangle. In this place, Kublai Khan lost a fleet of vessels. Okay, I gotta stop.
I was excited. That was that was gonna make a good movie. All right,
go to super deep. In a land. Was that?
In a land that's actually the ocean.
Newport.
That makes a lot of money.
Okay, so all the way back when the 13th century is where we kind of have the lore of this place starting. Yeah. So back in the 13th century, Kublai Khan assembled this massive fleet of ships that he was going to use to take over Japan. Mm-hmm. And the entire fleet never made it.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
The fleet would just no more. Doesn't exist. And a lot of people attribute that incident to being why Japan was basically allowed to develop on their own for a really long time.
Yeah.
Nobody
really changed the course of where Japan would be.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, that one event.
That's crazy.
And that just solidified it, sealed the deal. But on top of that, fishing vessels and stuff like that would report literal dragons, creatures coming up from out under the sea and coming and going into the air and orbs and stuff like that.
Oh,
for hundreds and hundreds of years, there's been sightings from this area from that.
Okay.
Ships would often talk about a creature would churn the waters underneath, and not that the water would get churny or start to get a little bit weird, but that they could see a creature swimming underneath them of epic proportions.
Oh my gosh.
So that's kind of the lore of that's how the Dragon's Triangle / the Devil's Sea, the origin of the name, I think I saw was, which was called by Japan, the Ma No Umi, which just means devil's sea or troublesome sea or dangerous sea. And they would call areas, and so they would name any areas that had a lot of like shipwrecks, they would name it that. But as the lore of the ships, the fleets vanishing really got going, the lore of it continued to build. But the bulk of the like lore is really from the last 100 years. I didn't realize that.
Oh, I didn't either.
Like,
because I've heard that story.
Because the ancient story, that was almost like a warning.
Yeah.
And so like they just didn't go there.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's not a ton of lore from that point until modern history. One significant fact is that it is on the opposite side of the globe of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, it's like a polar opposite of the triangle. It's on the same latitude line, but it's on the opposite side.
For a future episode, teaser, which we might do in the next few weeks, apparently there's also space triangles.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen some stuff
And
like that.
there is a space triangle pretty much directly above the Dragon's Triangle, where anomalies where like satellites stop working, malfunctioning.
Yeah, and I guess we wouldn't know that until we got satellites in space.
Right.
So like still in our orbit.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like outside of
because I'm like, isn't that just a black
space.
hole? But you
right.
mean like
No.
Yeah. Like
Triangle
so if you add
areas.
that third dimension would be a space pyramid.
Maybe.
Because as you get into space, there's three dimensions, not just the two on the ground.
Oh, that's true.
Oh man.
So how far out would the pyramid go? Oh,
Bro.
that's a thought.
Bro.
That is a thought. So whatever. Okay. All right. All right.
We may just win a direction here.
no.
All right,
continue.
save
Yeah,
that
that
one
was
for
good.
later.
Oh, no.
Pin that.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember it because I'll probably forget.
Okay.
The real like lore that started the Dragon's Triangle, like modern lore that has it, is when the Kaio Maru #5. So apparently in Japan they name all their ships like the blah 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 Maru, and Maru is basically means circle, and so it's like the completion of.
Right.
So the Koya Maru is basically like the completion of the Maru ship #5 is kind of the name, I guess. I don't know, but I've heard of Maru a ton from Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's so a lot of their ships are named that. So, so many vessels have sunk in the area that they built a research vessel to go and investigate why all of these ships are sinking.
Oh no.
And that ship sinks.
Oh no.
Nice. Nice.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, yeah.
And it went from normal sailing, it was in contact, everything's fine, to gone.
Here's the thing too, like
Instantly.
when I have looked at this because when we were doing triangles, this is one that popped up. Something I found was interesting too is Bermuda Triangle is known for like small ships, small planes, small personal things disappearing. These are like warships.
Oh my goodness.
These are like one of the ships that disappeared was like the second biggest warship on the planet at the time, and it disappeared.
Actually, the biggest.
Was it the biggest? I know it was huge, but I was like, how does a whole warship, huge
I
warship,
think it was
disappear?
when it was built to be the biggest, and to date, it was no. So this, you're actually talking about a different one, I think.
Oh my gosh.
So in 1980, the British built, like, it was the largest at the time, and it's still today would have been one of the largest cargo vessels of all time.
Yeah.
And it was going over the area. And again, same thing. No distress signal. This is 1980. So this is like modern.
I think we are talking about the same ship. Like I said, I didn't look any of this up. This is just from stuff that I've seen in the past and just, I don't know. Sometimes I watch history stuff.
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing about this huge ship. And I'm like, how does a whole ship just disappear?
Disappeared and no evidence found of it for 15 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until 1995 that they finally figured out where it was.
Right.
And it was sunk deep.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
One of the deeper spots of the area.
Right.
And so this thing's just cruising along and then just gone.
Yep.
Just bye-bye.
Heck, man.
Peace out. Obviously, you can't have a triangle without vanishing aircraft. Same thing.
Right.
So there's one aircraft.
Okay.
There was one aircraft that was flying along. in conversation, mid-sentence. They're tracking it. They see it. It's on the radar. They know exactly where it's at. They're talking to this ship, this plane. They're in mid-conversation with him. Disappears off the map, cuts off the communication, gone.
Yeah.
No mayday, no oh crap, no where am I going? No oh my gosh, or no the water, or
no indication of inclement weather or anything like that.
Talking, silence. And the ship's gone off the plane's gone off the radar.
Interesting.
That one messes with me. You can't just go, oh, it was bad weather.
There's a fairly famous plane that disappeared too, Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Disappeared over the
same area. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's where she was at. And they just found evidence of her, and that was
Why did I always think that she disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle?
You know what? And I found that too, is that a lot of times when you look up the Dragon Triangle, some of the stories from the Dragon Triangle got credited to the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
And
I noticed
because
that too.
Because people were familiar with the Bermuda Triangle and they were trying to freak everybody out. Quicksand in the Bermuda Triangle. And so they just tagged all those. But a lot of the stories you hear about the Bermuda Triangle actually happened in the Dragon's Triangle.
And the craziest thing about it, I think, is that the just suddenness of it.
Oh yeah.
That's the crazy thing to me. Like, if you're going to wreck, and so another a thing that when we did the Nevada Triangle, remember we talked about like losing time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was a significant thing that occurs over the Dragon's Triangle as well.
Right.
And this is planes who are landing half hour earlier than they should, and they never sped. Right. They're hitting places, and they're like, and not like half hour earlier in the sense of like, they hit a good wind and they cruise through. It's more like they were watching, and then all of a sudden they look back, and then they were in a different spot, and they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like stories like that happen a lot over there. The natural phenomenon, the stuff that they've been able to like attribute to things. So the crazy thing about this area is rogue waves happen regularly there.
Right.
So rogue waves could account for a lot of this stuff. But there's also, but actually, I'm going to take a step back. Okay. There are a ridiculous amount of ghost ships.
Yeah, I did
that
see that
sail
too.
the Dragon's Triangle.
There's even reports of the Flying Dutchman going through that area with the glowing green fog and all the stories.
Oh my
Legitimate reports of it. Not
like from high military military officers and stuff reporting they've seen, these ghost ships.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Real ghost ships, and the only theory, so like and like ones that they've been able to get on and see that there's nobody there, and there's no signs of damage or anything
drifting around.
One theory that somebody had was that these ships were sinking due to natural phenomena, and then that same natural phenomena is then pushing them off of the seafloor back up into the ocean,
spitting the boat back out.
Basically,
which matches with the Flying Dutchman, right?
Yeah.
Because the Flying Dutchman submerges and then
comes back up.
Right. Yeah. So the natural phenomena part of this is they believe that because this is the Ring of Fire, there's a lot of volcanic activity, lot of volcanic activity. Yeah. And the theory is that it can create like gas bubbles and stuff that like basically it almost looks like the water's boiling. So the ships would, and so the theory is that the ships would lose buoyancy, get overwhelmed, water would flood in, and then they would sink. Well, in the same way, if there was something buoyant, it would then create buoyancy in it and push it back up. And then so these ships are just like floating around.
Interesting.
But that sounds cuckoo to me.
You can imagine
these ships are huge ships just floating around. And like you're telling me that a gas bubble sunk them and then reemerged them later after everybody passed away? That's crazy to me. And like fleet, there is like a fleet of vessels.
Yeah, it wasn't just one or two. Yeah,
it is a fleet of ghost vessels going through this. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That does kind of seem like a slap into the face to like all the other bigger vessels that like you said, were found in like deep ocean. It's
Yeah.
it's like a vessel full of people just completely vanished and was found and it somehow sunk. But then there's these ghost vessels that are just like floating all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Up to the top.
Well, and like with the technology of some of these, I feel like a distress signal would have been sent out if all of a sudden the water looked like it was boiling and it starts sinking.
Well, ships
You would
sink,
still
though.
have-
That's what's crazy too. Ships,
Yeah.
it takes a while for a ship to sink.
does.
It's not
Yeah.
like just boop and it's gone.
And I feel like
You
there
know?
could have,
I don't know.
with
'cause
modern
even small
technology,
vessels take a while.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's part of the crazy thing about this is that it's not all just
crazy.
old tales.
Yeah.
Like modern technology, they'd have been able to get out a distress signal or send a, hey, mayday, mayday, ship sinking, or even like a something.
A lot of the ships I want to
Just nothing. Nothing.
With our technology, I am sure that some of these ships have automatic distress things. You know what I mean? Like if you go below the sea level, boom,
Yeah.
automatic distress beacons so we can find
Right.
the ship.
Yeah.
Some of those ships are worth millions,
Yeah.
Right. Well, so the anomalies and the happenstances of stuff were so severe during the 1950s, and why they sent that vessel over,
Yeah.
the Koya Maru number 5. When that sunk, the Japanese government actually deemed the area a no-go zone.
Right.
Like you weren't there, like it was no longer allowed to be like fished and all kinds of stuff. Like they were just like, it's too dangerous. It's so dangerous. The government put out a no-go zone. And
when was this no-go zone?
it would have been 1950s, probably. I don't know when it ended.
Okay.
But the Koya Maru was in
It's
1950.
interesting. That might tie into the Yonaguni Island
Okay.
a little bit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So the currents in the area are crazy, but here's one thing. What keeps happening in all of these crazy areas? Magnetic anomalies.
Yeah.
Yep.
The magnetic anomalies in this
Well,
area
you're in
are
a place where there's
through
lots of
the roof.
volcanoes and things like
Yeah.
that.
They're saying that this area might be the most magnetically, the biggest magnetic anomaly
Yeah.
in the ocean would be over this area, basically. Just a crazy area. But the volcanoes, like they say that, like
Is
literally,
Japan, like, was Japan formed by volcanic activity, supposedly?
Gosh.
Because obviously, like,
know.
Hawaii
I wish I
was.
could speak to
But
that.
I don't know.
I've read different things too, where like when they talk about California falling off the United States,
Right.
that it would look like Japan, and that's what happened.
Yes.
I've seen volcano.
Well, and
I
then
don't know.
Japan gets like a lot of earthquakes and stuff,
Yeah.
and then if you have Mount Fuji,
Right.
just
yes,
I don't know.
Japan was essentially created by volcanoes, but more
volcanoes.
specifically by tectonic plate that
Gotcha.
produced those volcanoes.
Just all the stuff. Okay.
All the things.
magma.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Sorry.
But yeah,
to throw you
so
off.
islands will show up and disappear
Right.
at random
That's
in
great.
this area
Yeah.
too. And in areas that like it is almost seeming like overnight, like where it's like it's the seafloor is too deep, and then all of a sudden it's just like island. You like that noise?
I'm sure that's what it sounds like too.
Yeah, probably. And then they'll notice there's an island there, and then like a week later, it's back to its normal depth, and you're like, "What the?
Yeah.
What happened?
goodness.
What happened here?" And so the currents apparently are pretty crazy there because of that, and so it can just tear down these makeshift islands really fast because the currents are just crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
And so a lot of I feel like a lot of the conspiracy theories are there. I don't feel like the conspiracy theories are debunked by the natural,
Yeah.
but the natural definitely adds to the danger.
Yeah.
There is a lot of natural that causes a lot of the loss and the dangers, but I think that a lot of the cases are too out there for the natural to explain really well.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
fleets of ghost vehicles,
Ghost vehicles.
a fleet of goats.
Flea of goats.
Fleet of goats.
Flea of
I
goats.
gotta put that.
A flea of goats in the yep.
A fleet of goats.
Oh man. That's good stuff.
But a fleet of ghost ships just showing up because air bubbles brought it back up. What are you trying to sell me?
Yeah.
It's
Like that's crazy. Like maybe once, maybe twice.
Right.
Right.
But like fleets of ghost ships from air bubbles? What?
Yeah. So let me tell you about Yonaguni Island. You ready for Yonaguni Island?
Get it.
So Yonaguni Island it's off the west side of Japan. It's a tiny little island. Like the big globe, you can't even see it. It's a tiny itty bitty little island, right? Yeah. And it's kind of remote, like tropical, like touristy kind of area where they have like the ancient Japan kind of, that look for the tourists and things. In 1983, there was a guy that would take people off of the coast to do like scuba diving stuff. And on one of his little dives in 1983, he saw some weird rocks about 80 feet down. And so he started going deeper and kind of exploring these rocks. And he said they were so perfectly cut. He was like, this is a sunken city. This is not just regular. So the interesting thing was I watched some Josh Gates and some other stuff.
Yeah.
And when you go down, you have to go down on one side. And then the current is so strong through there.
I think I've seen that episode.
Yeah, that it shoots you through the other side. And so you can't just hang out and explore it. So they have a problem like exploring it because the current is nasty through there. So you just ride the current and you can take pictures on the way by. And it's not like dangerous current, but it's enough that you can't stop.
Yeah.
And so you just go and it spits you out in a different spot every time. And so you have to have your little emergency little buoy so they know where to find you.
Oh, yeah.
And you come out the other side, right? But in this place, there's like they look like staircases. And in one place, there's like a pyramid and it looks just like Machu Picchu.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy. And so scientists that have explored it, the Japanese government won't let anybody outside of Japan come and explore it, of course. But the people that have explored it, the scientists and stuff, they're 50-50. Some of them say it's created by the current and the water and the kind of rocks that it is. And on the other side of things, they're like, this is an ancient culture that built this and it sunk, and allegedly there's like roads and things and like so they call it Japan's Atlantis. There's like a stone face, looks like a face down there. Then there's like, it's just a natural anomaly. But when I was watching the expedition Josh Gates thing, one of the locals took him up to one of the little hills up on the shore. And there's a rock that looks like a face that matches the face that's underwater.
Oh, no way.
And in front of it, it's got a little bowl, like a little, maybe 2 foot diameter bowl where you would, put offerings and things like that. And so he's like, this is not natural. That's not natural. But so it's still up for grabs. There's one that looks like a big platform. And on the top, it looks like a carving, like a huge carving of like a sea turtle. And they're like, no, that's natural. I have some pictures if you'd like to see.
Yes,
them.
I would like to see.
Now, I don't know if any of these are AI or not, but here, let me turn it this way. You can see them better.
Okay, I've seen that one before. Yeah. I remember that from the show.
We'll post these. Mike remembers. I'll post them in the Discord.
Oh.
That one doesn't look very natural to me.
No, definitely not.
And this one pokes out of the water, so they would say that was on land and then it went underwater.
Crazy.
What?
And again, I don't know how legit some of these pictures are, but these are the pictures that popped up, and
that's interesting.
I thought it was an interesting.
That's crazy.
Interesting take, and I think it's extra interesting that you can't just like. You can't explore. You can't go into little cave things. You can't do any of that. And it's not because any of the government or anybody else saying you can't, like physically because of the environment in that part of the ocean. You can't stick around because there's a nasty current that flies underneath, like an underwater current that goes through there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
it's like
that whole area, the ocean, it's very, I don't know. We talk about exploring space and all that stuff, but man.
Right.
There's so much craziness just in our own oceans,
There really is.
Okay. There's a couple more things for the Dragon's Triangle.
Bring us back.
We honestly, we could probably finish after that. That's
a good, pretty
solid. Yeah. So there's the story of the lone sailor of the 1800s. So this story, the mystery basically goes that it's still unsolved to this day, but there was apparently a lot of documentation on this. That because there was just a ton of witnesses who saw this and like corroborated the story.
Yeah.
So in the 1800s, there was a vessel that just showed up that was weird. Like it didn't seem like it wasn't like a normal vessel. It seemed like it was just a weird vessel that showed up and was being navigated by a woman. And the shape of the ship is what kind of caught everybody off guard because it was just shaped weird. And it was reminiscent of the shape of like a box that they would use to burn incense in.
Okay.
Oh.
It's kind of how it was built. Okay. And so I think it was called the Utsuro Boon Mystery. And it was specifically in 1803. But it seemed like it was built out of time. Like it was like a futuristic kind of thing. So there's this woman who's navigating this thing, and she apparently had like pale, like white, like porcelain, like white skin.
Yeah.
So she's navigating this ship out. Like you're gonna get tan or sunburned or something, I would think. Yeah. But I don't know how the ship was designed. I haven't seen pictures of it. And then she had with her a rectangular box that she like would start to go wild if anybody even got near to it, and she like refused to let it go, and she held it constantly and was possessive of it. When she got into land, like she wouldn't
like
let
Davy
go
Jones.
of this thing.
That sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean too.
Kind of, just wouldn't let it go. And so villagers, if they tried to like inspect it and get close to look, they would like get close, and she'd start getting like visibly upset.
Precious,
like rabid. And so everything about it just seemed to be like strange, almost like they would call like strange technology almost.
Yeah.
It was just weird. Okay. And then, so from the story that I heard, but I've heard there's a few different variances of the end of the story, but from the story I heard was it set them and unsettled them so much that they asked the lady to return to her vessel and leave. And so she did, and nothing else came about it from it. She just disappeared.
I was impressed that she even made landfall and was like interacting with people. It just,
it was apparently very short-lived.
They were like, listen, lady.
Very short-lived.
Take your box, get on your ship and get out of here.
And obviously people speculated what was in the box, but nobody knows what was in the box because she wouldn't let them investigate it. But what
Davy Jones?
I was gonna say,
man,
yeah, Davy Jones apparently was a woman whose skin pale white and cray. Now, I think, what if this was just a lady who like was from like Europe, or not even Europe, just like from I don't know, from Russia,
just from some place that they hadn't
and she got lost
and visited.
And what if that box was like, I don't even know, what if it was like food, or maybe it was awkward, maybe it was her poop box or something, and she didn't want people to know. You know what I'm saying? Like my brain goes wild to like the practical.
I mean, I don't want anybody around my box.
Right, you'd be weird about that. You'd be a little weird about that. But I guess the thing about the story that's
like
weird
a
is
loved one's ashes or something like that.
It could be something simple, but on the other side of things, like even in the 1800s, there really wasn't any culture that we know of on Earth that had like really like advanced ships at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like the most advanced ships were still not that advanced at that time. And
they were still what we think of as ships. They were still
and there was, I guess, there was like glass and like what they would we would refer to as today with like it was glass, but like curved glass wasn't invented until like the late 1900s, was it?
Yeah. Huh.
I guess I didn't even think about it. Let me. When was curved?
Did she have big eyes?
That I didn't see.
Aliens.
Oh.
1930s is when...
I was like, are you talking about Momo?
Whoa.
What was that?
Industrial scale architectural and automotive applications were invented in 1930s, but they did curved glass for like sculptures and stuff like that, but that's not really like see-through, like our idea of what glass is. Yeah.
Why are we talking about curved glass?
That was one of the features. It was like it was how we would refer to today as curved glass is how they explained parts of it.
I think weird. Of when you say like the incense box, I'm thinking, and you're talking futuristic, I'm thinking like submarine.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this was a submarine.
That's what it seemed like to me. It was almost like explaining a submarine.
Well, and on top of that, like this was a woman navigating the ship. That didn't happen in the 1801. There was no way a woman was, unless she was pretending to be a man, was allowed to be the captain of a ship.
Or again, if maybe her husband, that could be too. Maybe that's why she was acting weird. And maybe that would have,
maybe the box would have
revealed
told people that she stole this.
Could have just been like her diary in it and explained how she did what she did and whatever.
Yeah,
who knows?
Could have been the keys to start up the submarine. If she loses the key, she can't get her going.
Right. That could be too. She wanted to protect. to give herself an exit.
If it was a future-y kind of thing.
Because during that time in Japan, being a foreigner was a big no-no.
Oh yeah.
And so that could have just been her.
I mean, it was
protecting herself.
So rare for a foreigner to be accepted into Japanese culture that like it was legendary. If someone would like, there are books written about the legend of, there's one of an American who went over to become a samurai, and like his journey of becoming a samurai was so,
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't you just didn't do that.
That's crazy.
Right. Huh. That's the crazy thing. Well, and a couple other things that are really big anomalies that do occur here is like fog banks apparently are room to just exist, like just pop up.
Yep.
Huh.
And not like weather phenomena or like it just seems like a fog bank will just create and just be the densest fog you've ever seen. And you can't like I saw a video from this area where they're on a ship and you can't see the ocean. The fog is so bad.
Thick?
From the top. It was a big ship, so it's not like it was a short ship.
But still.
And looking down, it just and the video is talking about how out here you can go crazy because not only is it like when you see the ocean, it's just ocean for miles and it seems like you never end. But sometimes and it was talking about how when the fog rolls in and it showed the video and it's like you literally can't even see the ocean anymar. And so you'll hear things floating. And And so like at that point in time, they try not to move. Right. But like, at least I guess I'm assuming that. They didn't even talk about that, but I would assume you would just kind of
chill
stop
for a minute.
if you can't see the ocean, and it's just that dense. Okay, so fun theories. The first theory is that this place is where the veil is thin. We keep hearing that a lot of different places. Yeah. That there is a thin veil here between the spiritual and the natural. Mm-hmm. And one thing we do see a lot of is those orbs. Those have been rumored to come up out of the ocean long before modern technology. And so we can't say it's necessarily our U.S. government unless our U.S. government had that kind of technology back in the 1800s and before. And talk about the glowing ghost ships and things like that, glowing underneath the ocean. Like there's lots of stories about things glowing underneath the ocean. So if it was a thin area where the spiritual realm is a little more seeable, it makes you wonder if some of those orbs aren't like spiritual beings.
Yeah.
And
spiritual / alien, we haven't talked about it in a long time, but there's theories that the aliens that we think of aliens and UFOs, and they're not coming from space, they're coming from the ocean. There's a whole theory of that too. So
and so this could be an area where that veil, that area is thin, or it could be just an area where maybe it's easy for them to cross over back into our world or into the natural or what our version of natural is. then another theory that I thought was kind of interesting was, so the Bible talks about Leviathan and how Leviathan would.
I've been thinking about that this whole episode.
What if this is where Leviathan lives?
Yeah,
because it is deep. It's deep enough. It's like one of the deep part of the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of depth in this area, in that whole area, and that would be an area where something like Leviathan could exist. And so the rumors and the rumors and the reports of ships, and even like modern day, it's not like all historic, even modern day reports of like creatures swimming, churning the water underneath the ships.
Yeah.
What if that is a Leviathan like creature that is doing that? And what if, okay, let me throw this out. What if the Leviathan is also has the electronic anomaly and something about it creates an environment that creates the electronic disturbance as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a spiritual being too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have natural creatures. I mean, look at like the electric eel creates electricity, bioelectricity. I mean, so what if not that far fetched?
What if the Leviathan is a giant version of that? Yeah. And creates an electronic disturbance in these planes, these ships, these whatever. Like, let's say the planes. Let's say there's the Leviathan comes out, shocks it, drops it, eats it. Yeah. It's gone.
No more ship.
No more ship.
Have we talked about Leviathan and put it into context yet on pod?
Not really.
We might have to do that down the road.
We might have to talk about the Leviathan.
Yeah.
Well,
but that's a biblical concept. And so if you believe in the Bible,
to an episode we have coming up.
Oh, and it's one of those biblical,
that might be
it's one of those biblical things
episode
that has been mainstreamed.
Yeah.
The idea of Leviathan has been mainstreamed. Like it's not
very
like
much so.
And a lot of people don't even realize that it is a biblical thing.
I've seen posts lately about like,
Leviathan is.
Oh no, like blah blah, this is happening over in this part. Leviathan's gonna thaw out soon, like something like that. And they're like, nope, you see this is the signature where the Leviathan is underneath the ocean. And I've been seeing more and more of posts like that.
And that big old dragon head thing that's is that South America that looks like from space.
But I don't know. But there is one way or the other. Even
Ocean's a scary place.
Even if you don't believe in the Leviathan, even if you don't believe that it could be that, there are a lot of sightings of massive serpentine things, shapes in this area, to the point where it gets the lore of Dragon's Triangle.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, this isn't just we like dragons, so we're going to name it dragon. Right. It got called that because there was so many reports
of the Leviathan like dragon like creatures. Yeah. So, what if this is one of those instances where the truth is stranger than fiction, but not that strange, and it is natural, and it is just a natural creature.
Yeah. That's
the Leviathan, which is also the dragon, which is also, all of these other things, and it still exists in this area.
Which, and just because you can explain it with science doesn't mean it's not spiritual, it's not biblical.
Right.
And the crazy thing is about the ocean. I don't know if it's hard to explain how massive the ocean is without looking at this picture. And I think it's the picture of the globe from it's the Pacific Ocean, right? That's the name of the ocean that's over there.
Yeah.
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 That's over there. Yeah.
It's over there.
So if you look at a globe,
the Pacific Ocean.
We're in Nebraska. Every ocean is over there.
Pacific.
Somewhere.
The Pacific Ocean.
It's the Pacific. So if you look at a globe from the Pacific, it's all you see is water.
The whole face.
It's just
Earth.
water.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so you're telling me, genuinely,
we don't show that.
We've discovered all of the creatures in that area, considering.
Not.
Yeah. Not
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's no way.
No.
And now you want to tell me that we've discovered all of the big creatures? We just discovered a new big creature. It was not too very long ago.
Yeah.
They found a baby. I don't know. It was like a baby something. I need to look it up so I can bring it into the current events. But the vastness of this area that it leads out to.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so if they're going to be going out, and ocean creatures are like, okay, I think of you actually brought up the eel. Uh-huh. One of the crazy things about the eel is you're good. Sorry. One of the crazy things about the eel is they go to a specific area deep in the ocean to breed.
Did you know they didn't even know that till like 10 years ago?
Yeah, because they just didn't know how that they reproduced.
They thought they just like spawned.
Yeah,
they didn't know.
No clue how they reproduced.
No idea how baby eels are even born until like 10 years ago. Yeah.
So, if this is eel-like, and this is a giant creature that goes out and it does its own thing, maybe this is the area it breeds.
Yeah. And we just obviously we're not out there and not deep enough.
And there's a lot of them, and they come in, and when they're breeding, ships start sinking, doing whatever. Rogue waves form, do all these things because there's a bunch of them because they're there for their breeding season, and then they go back out to the deep ocean.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Huh.
And it would be a very easy spot for them to go back to.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. And so maybe that's the electronic anomaly. We're maybe onto something with this one. That's a fun one. That developed as we were talking.
Yeah.
But
that's always
one way or the other.
I like when that happens.
The Dragon's Triangle, the Devil's Ocean, the Devil's Sea, whatever. It's a very big blend of both natural chaos.
Yeah.
Of the oceanic, volcanic.
Yeah.
Just chaos that exists. It's just natural.
Right.
I think it's a blend of natural and supernatural.
Right.
That has created the lore.
Yep. I feel the same way about the forest that we started with and everything else.
Very much so.
It's Japan in general has such a rich history.
Yeah.
Such a long, rich history full of, mystical and, historical, and it creates for some great stories and some great, discussions for sure.
So, and just the crazy thing, when you look at a picture that's been created for like viewer purposes,
I know
it looks like the land is like right there.
Yeah.
But then when you look at the actual like from, I guess if you believe in space, the from space version, but the anatomically correct version of the ocean, it is huge.
Well, they always look. It always seems like there's so much land, and there really is not.
No.
Like almost all of our land that people live on is almost all northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
There's very little in the southern hemisphere.
It's wild.
But when we see a globe, it looks a little different. Yeah.
Just vast.
And again, that's
vast ocean.
That comes down to whose science you're believing and what pictures you're believing, because I didn't take any of those pictures, so I have no idea which ones are real or which ones aren't.
That's very true.
So
that is very true.
It comes down to trust and faith and all those things that we, science tells us not to have trust and faith, but we have to, because there's no way for me to see that.
Yeah. That's, I don't know how many Americas you could fit in the Pacific Ocean, but I would bet it's like thousands of them.
Yeah.
Just with how vast that is. That's crazy.
That's a lot of water.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's a lot of real estate.
Yep.
That has not been discovered, not been investigated.
Yep. Well, it's funny because like NASA started out exploring the ocean, and then they gave up on that. Why?
Yeah. Maybe they found something they didn't like.
Yeah. Like giant electric eels.
Yes. That are also dinosaurs, which are also dragons.
Dragons.
Giants
that ride the ocean dragons, and
maybe that's what Bigfoot is.
Maybe.
We do have that picture from the episode we did of the Yoho thalassophobia or whatever, where Bigfoot's riding a dragon. So maybe Bigfoot and the Leviathan, they're buddies.
There's like a cryptid network, they have their own internet, they just sit and chat about us. Maybe there's a podcast about us on them that trying to figure out if we really exist.
In the spiritual world or whatever. That'd be so fun. That'd be so crazy if what if you wake up tomorrow and you're just in the spiritual world but not in the real world anymore?
Right.
But you're not dead. Right. You're just you get to see the spiritual world and what it looks like. Yeah. Imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Anyway.
Nobody would believe you.
No. Nope. Not at all.
Nope. You could write books, nobody would believe you.
Nobody would believe you.
Yep.
I know there's so much about the Dragon's Triangle that I know I'm missing something. I can't remember. I wrote everything down that was significant, and the theory of the underwater alien base, which would explain the light stuff. I feel like that's a natural
that was one of the little side things of Yonaguni Island too.
That's true.
Was it was an alien, alien civilization and
gateway to the other dimension. I feel like that's another natural conspiracy theory that that plays into that.
I saw one where if the magnetic pole of the Earth and the magnetic pole of the sun line up, that it creates a weird vortex, and usually it doesn't last long enough to do anything. But if you could sustain it,
yeah.
And I was like,
I saw this thing. It was totally random.
Yeah,
but there is actually very real evidence of when the sun is at its like I don't know what you'd call it. It's seismic hotspot where it's just throwing out stuff like on Earth, where it's hardcore
energy, apex or whatever.
When it's at those peaks, it overlines with civil unrest on Earth.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And there's 100 different theories of why that is.
Right.
But it is interesting, and it does overlap. And so the question is the overlap because of the sun lashing out, or are the powers that be doing things at the same time as the sun is lashing out because it knows how it affects us?
Kind of thing.
And, the frequency stuff, they've figured out the frequency stuff does cause fake us out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like the light quality affects us as well. And I wonder if when it's sending out massive things, I wonder if it changes the light quality, which could affect, but I don't know. Anyway, all that's totally random. That was a bonus. But it is, it's definitely a place that's been around for a long time, been weird for a long time.
Yeah. But
with that, I'm going to ask you guys, don't forget to join the Patreon, patreon.com/BABigfoot. Even if you want to join the free tier, you can always join the free tier and then see what it's all about, and then join paid later on.
Come check it out.
You can jump in full feet first.
Full feet first
on the face.
Yep.
And jump on in. And then if you don't like the content, you can always cancel as well. We just want to provide more for you if you want it. And that's really, we're trying to cater to you guys. InsaneLabs.com and use the code BABigfoot. And don't forget to
be your biblically accurate best.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet he the maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?